I have a few of the co-founders here of our team, so I'm going to put you on speakerphone.
Okay. And what's the name of your team again, Melissa?
We're Carolina Cryptid Crew.
That's right, Carolina Cryptid Crew.
Yes.
So, Melissa, who all do we have on the line?
Okay, we've got Marty, my husband. We've got Carrie.
Hi.
We've got Chris.
How you doing?
Let's start off by doing, since I know you've had quite a series of events going on and also some cover-up type situations. So we'll kind of break it into two sections.
Okay.
First of all, let's start with what's going on in your area, and I guess how you guys all got started with this. What first brought you into the knowledge of there being these creatures in your area?
Well, we have some property that's about 22 acres. So we thought, well, we'll get the members that are interested in cryptids, we'll get them out in the woods, take a look around, look for some evidence, kind of get their feet wet, a beginning for a team. So we go out to check out the area before the team gets here, and we kind of stumble across some prints, which blown all of us away, I guess. We got the team here that night, and we hit the woods, and we heard some whoops, some tree knocks.
Had some rocks thrown at us.
It was surreal. We weren't expecting anything. We weren't really looking for anything, but it was like right in your face.
Okay, actually, let me back up just a little bit. Now, your father saw a dead body on the road of one of these creatures. Is that correct?
That night.
Yes, it was actually that night.
Okay, well, tell us what happened that night. Just sort of start from the beginning and take us through the events as they happened.
Okay. Well, we got the team together late that evening before sunset. We grilled some hot dogs, some burgers, and had kind of a get-together, had dinner together. About the time we were eating dinner, my parents had decided they were going to take the grandson and go right around a little bit. When they left, I guess they were a mile.
Yeah, right up the end of
a
the
mile
road.
away from our research area. And they saw something in the road. It had been hit by a pickup truck, presumably because there was a truck there with it. They said the animal was really dark in color. It was
huge.
Too big to be a bear, too big to be a cow, and too big to be a horse. They've lived here their whole lives, and they've never seen anything like it. It was laying in the middle of the road. They sat there to let traffic go by, and were looking at this thing in the road, and the highway patrol that had been pulled off on the side of the road saw that they were watching, so he got into his squad car and pulled it in between this animal and them so they could no longer see it. Well, they kind of went down the road for a good ways, turned around and come back. There was nothing there. It was completely gone. Squad car was gone. Pickup truck was gone. No sign of anything. Well, we didn't know about this until the next morning. That night, we got through eating. We hit the woods. Carrie and I were doing a live presentation of this first expedition. So we were setting up the computers. The guys had hit the woods. Well, Carrie and I heard something hit a building beside us and roll down, like an acorn hit a roof and rolls down. But there's no acorn trees around it. So we heard that. We didn't pay it any attention. 30 seconds later, something hits the building to our right, hits the top, rolls down. Carrie looks at me and says, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I heard it." And about that time, something hits the charcoal bag by my leg. Well, that got me up out of my chair, and it was a rock. We had just had a rock thrown at us. So we grabbed some recorders, we grabbed walkie-talkies, we hit the woods. We're about 20 feet into the woods when we hear this loud whoop that's not 6 feet from us. Didn't know what to make of it. That we've never heard that sound before except on TV. We radio the guys, and they say yes, they heard it too. Right after we speak with them, we hear a tree knock, and we just freeze. We don't know what to do. It's like, this can't be happening. We're not hearing this stuff. Well, later we go back and sit down, and the guys get back to us that night and tell us they have found some more footprints, and they're big enough for casting. So while we're talking about getting back out in the woods with some lights and casting these prints, lightning starts flashing overhead. We have a storm coming in. So we get out and cover the prints with some plastic. We do the best we do to get them covered because it's starting to rain by now. And we don't get those prints done. They're washed away.
It was that week that all the crazy stuff actually started happening. We had our emails hacked several times each. One time I was actually checking my email, and my email was hacked. I had the strangest conversations with some of the officials in the area about this dead body in the road. First, I called the road department because I know they don't generally clean up roadkill of any size. They let the farmers do it or whatever. So the woman tells me to call the sheriff's department. I call the sheriff's department. They tell me to call the DNR. So I call the DNR. They tell me to call the road department. So I call the road department back, talk to someone different, and she looks it up on the computer and asks if she can call me back. I say, sure. So she calls me back, and she tells me that she has the information, but she can't tell me anything. Her supervisor has to do it and gets my information. He calls me back the next day, and he's asking me all these questions about why I want it, where I live, who I am, and I tell him just fake stuff. I basically tell him I'm doing a documentary of the wildlife in the area, and he tells me that nothing was hit, there was no report of anything, and that there's no evidence of anything. Then,
did you call the state troopers about that?
The troopers, yeah, they're telling me there's nothing, that I have to talk to another department.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did talk to somebody that works closely with the troopers and was able to check the database for me. And he confirmed that there had been something at that time of evening on that day. There was a report, but it had been deleted from the database.
Did they have any indication who deleted that?
We have no idea, and we don't know why.
Okay, so you've had a couple of direct encounters, right, with these creatures?
We've had one direct encounter, and then my husband and I have seen one.
Walking on a golf course.
Yeah, it was actually walking near a golf course. Again, we were in our research area, and we're just looking for new tree structures, new footprints, just seeing what we could find. Marty, my husband, Carrie, my daughter-in-law are walking in front of me. I'm kind of lagging behind because I keep turning around and taking pictures behind me. And that's when I notice there's a tree that's just whipping back and forth like mad. The brush around this tree, I guess, is about chest high with underbrush around this tree. I tell them I see something. They turn around and come back, and they head down to it. So they're going down with cameras toward this underbrush, and I'm backing up this little incline so I can see a little bit further than them. And I see some rust-colored fur. My first thought is a bear, but bears are very, very uncommon here. And if it's a bear here, it's going to be black. It's going to be a black bear, which, like I said, was very, very uncommon. But that's what my mind says is bear. So I tell them I see something. I'm telling them what direction. They're heading in that direction. And then Carrie sees the fur. She starts backing up to where I am to get a better view. And at that time, it just steps out of this underbrush. It looks directly at me and Carrie. It seems like an eternity, but I'm sure it was just a couple of seconds. It looks away, takes one step, and it's lost in the underbrush.
And it was like it was just saying to us, don't follow me. That's just how it felt, like it was just begging us not to follow.
Did you get a good look at its face?